There, my name is Annie. I'm a speech language pathologist here at A2 Therapy Works. I wanted to hop on our January vlog to chat with you guys about articulation or speech sound practice at home. I have just had some suggestions for activities, ways to get set up so you guys can have sort of a routine and just give you some ideas of what that might look like and how to make sure you guys are successful with it. One thing that I do want to preface is always chatting with your speech language pathologist before starting any practice at home, making sure you know what goals you guys have, what sounds we're working on, in what context, and then seeing if there's any specific cues that they have to suggest in order to help you guys with all of that production at home. So always start there, and then a few other general things I always suggest would be, depending on the age of your kiddo, having a conversation about how they want to practice these sounds. I think it's good to kind of set up a routine so that you have a time where the expectation is set, and you can sort of ask them, do we want it to be one-on-one? Do you want siblings to be a part of it? Do you want it to be a whole family affair? Kind of hear them out in terms of those pieces of it. Asking about which activities they would want to do, and maybe even like what sounds they want to work on that day. Giving them a little bit of control over the situation can hopefully just promote that motivation and that wanting to participate in these activities. Letting your child know that this is, we're going to find a time of day that we can agree on, that we're both going to, set the expectation that we're thinking about these sounds, we're practicing them, and we're really just trying to incorporate that in as much, drill, conversation, what have you. So that we can, keep building toward these goals and keep establishing those sounds in, a big variety of contexts there. So finding that time of day, it could be in the car, it could be before dinner, just finding some time that you'll be able to consistently have with them, and then just kind of set that up so you guys know when it's happening, can be able to do that consistently throughout the week and the weekends, depending, and always be flexible too. Obviously, not every day is going to be the same, so just making sure that it's a priority and something that you guys are keeping in mind, even if it's kind of a hectic day. Some other things would be asking your kiddo to rate their own production. So if you guys are in trials and you're saying, all right, great, you guys are doing so good, see if they can listen in and say, well, okay, was that good, or should we try that one again? Maybe using some different cues. Always just trying to make them correct themselves, see if we can get them to be more independent. Really want to make sure that they are a part of this and a very active part of this participation and in this practice. And then if you guys come across any words, sounds, syllables that are really, really tricky, you've tried to cue them a couple different ways and just aren't getting it, just go ahead and write that down, take a note. We usually say, if it's not something that we're able to consistently get, if we're not getting those accurate productions, it's not necessarily helping us. So take that to your SLP. They'll be able to help you guys establish those sounds, maybe even give you some suggestions for cues to be able to help with that. And that should hopefully get you guys on your way into getting that set up. But now I want to talk about just like some general activities for you guys to use when you are practicing some of those things. So the beautiful thing about articulation is you have everything you need with you pretty much all the time. Obviously, if there's word lists or any like visual cues you guys want to use, make sure you have those on hand with you. But lots of times we can just kind of take it wherever we're at and try and practice that way. So if we're brainstorming words, have word lists, what have you, even books just to find some words in, those can always be super, super helpful and just makes it a little bit easier, a little bit less to materials to like prep for and all of that good stuff. So in terms of games activities, it's pretty much wide open. Just depends on what you guys like to do together, things that are going to be motivating for your child, and hopefully fun, be able to mix it up a little bit. So that's why I kind of come with a few different ideas and a few different ways to go about this. So the first one that always comes to my mind is Race to 100. It's a super easy game that you can set up yourself. Have a piece of paper, line it up 1 through 100. You roll a dice, however much you get in your dice, that's how many times you say the word, and then you race to see who gets to 100 first. A great way to get at least 100 productions. Make sure that it's still like motivating and it's super quick. So that one's a great one just to kind of get started and sort of get that established, that routine and that practice. Other things we can do are board games, so Game of Life, Chutes and ladders, Don't Wake Daddy, all really good ones. You can take your turn, practice, so then you're kind of getting that turn taking in there. You get a little bit of opportunity for just some gameplay, so it's not all the attention on those speech sound productions. Just kind of breaks it up a little bit and make sure you guys are having fun. Gross motor activities, if we're feeling like we need a little bit of movement, having a hard time sitting still and just need something to do that can, get some of that energy out. The floor is lava, excuse me. Obstacle courses and freeze tag can be fun too. So if you're playing freeze tag, things like you have to say a word 3 times before you're unfrozen. Or floor is lava, you have to, say the sentence before you can jump to your next spot. So always just kind of incorporating what's the requirement, getting those speech sounds in there, and however you guys can do that is totally fine. So feel free to be creative, play with the rules, do whatever it is that's going to keep you guys both interested, participating, and motivated to get those sounds in there. Other things you can do, just reading with your kiddos can be a great opportunity, having them read aloud to you, or even just pointing out as you're reading to them some words to try, like, oh, wow, oh, there's that sound. So some of that, like, phonetic piece of it too, and just pointing out some of those words, and it kind of helps with some of that literacy too, which is great. Online games can also be really helpful. There's free resources all over the internet with great, specific sounds to work on, specific words, different contexts that can always be really helpful. I always suggest just finding the free ones. I think a lot of these are pretty self-explanatory, that you can kind of be creative with the way that you play with these. Don't necessarily need to spend any money or anything like that. But those are just kind of some suggestions that I have in terms of getting some motivation and participation ready for these. We always suggest, at least a few minutes a day that we're thinking about, talking about, and practicing these sounds, so that we're always keeping it a cognizant thing. It's something that we're conscious of and aware of, and even just talking about communication in general, why it's important for us to have these speech sounds in our words and be easy to be understood while we're having those conversations. So if you guys have any specific questions about, what's my child working on, cues to use, anything like that, always reach out to your speech language pathologist. We are here for you guys and happy to support however we can, especially when it comes to getting some of that practice outside of therapy sessions. Because, of course, we work hard with these kiddos all the time with them in these sessions, but very important for their progress is to have that practice outside as well. So always great for us. We like to hear it, so we're happy to help whenever you need it. And that will kind of wrap up our January blog post. Thanks so much for being a part of this and listening in. Let me know if you have any questions, and take care.